was a little bit late. I was making a cup of tea. Been up all things Tenerife for more. Hello, mate. How you doing? Hope you're doing okay. That's Keith, isn't it? Hi, Keith. How are you, pal? Who's not Craigie C? Hi, Craigie. How are you, mate? Morning, folks. Hope all is well, everyone. Let's talk through this. We're not qualified. We're not qualified. We're definitely not qualified, mate. Ian the doorman. How's your week been? It's like that lads club in. Let's talk about football. Football. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Did any of you watch it? What a load of garbage. Absolute garbage. It was... I'll just wait for myself. There we go. I'm loading up now. I'm just loading up just to get rid of the adverts, and then I feel like everything's all right. I feel like a sound engineer to start off with. That's on that side there. It's pointing at Shelley. The camera's on the wrong way, Shell. It's pointing at you. That's not what you want. That's it. Get it on me. There you go. That's it. We're not that kind of channel, Pet. Sort that out a little bit more. Brums Grub, how you doing? You all right? Hope you're doing okay. So that angle's just like... I'm trying to work on a different camera angle and the phone's going, no, we're not having it. I think that's better. That's better. Nice of you to join you. You're not working today, Ian. Not working today. That's good. Brums Grub, how are you? Well, this week's thoughts and positivity to get Tenerife next year. Summer despite disability. Last America, Sadeki is too much out of my comfort zone, so 99% decided on Callao Salvaje. Do you know what it is, Craig, about Callao? Callao's alright, and I think I know people follow Tim, and obviously with Christine, it is wheelchair accessible, the majority of it as well. And the only thing I find about Callao for myself is that I found there was not enough bars. There's a lot of restaurants, but not enough bars. And what does that actually mean for people who live there, for people like me, is you just sometimes just want to go out for a drink, but you feel guilty because you can sit in a nice restaurant for a drink, but you're actually taking away the opportunity of that table for that person. Whereas, you know, because it's a small business and they'd obviously get high turnover with food. Whereas if there was more bars, you'd actually feel more comfortable sitting there. So in the end, we'd seen it within a couple of months, just like, nah, it wasn't really for us. So when we got told we had to move, it wasn't a big deal. Funnily enough, we've moved away now where there is no bars, and we're all right with it, happy with it. But I think you'll enjoy Callao. I think it's, if you know about the area, it's good. It is Keith. I can see your logo, Keith. How are you doing? Hi, Carl. How are you? Let's have a look. Dazzy's on. Daz Preston. Morning, everyone. What a great day. Hope you're all well and have a good day to you all. Cheers, mate. The numbers are ticking up, so there's some people in the background watching. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing okay. It's this is the second one of the men's room spinning around. Second one of the men's room, and it really is just an opportunity for people to talk. Do you know what it is? To blether. I think it's a better word than talk. Just to blether, and out of the blethering, something might come out of it that will that might help somebody, or that might you know, point in a direction. Just give someone a couple of pointers for the rest of the week or for the rest of the day, or even stuff like that. I'm going to come on to a subject in a bit and just say, you all know, by the way, that I came back from the UK. I got back last night, and I'd been away. I just went away for 2-3 days. I flew out Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, I flew out Thursday, and then flew back Saturday. So that's literally arrived Thursday afternoon, spent all day Friday, and then got out Saturday morning. Got out, look at that, escaped Saturday morning. That's because for me, the emotions that the UK instills in me now is that even I was talking this morning, it's like, I don't need to go back. I genuinely do not need to go back. I think the only time I'll go back now is when the financial settling of the house comes in about 9-10 years time. But the country's, you know, my granddaughter's there, but hopefully they'll start coming over and start coming to Tenerife. And I know it might be a selfish view, but they get a holiday out of it as well. But I don't need to go back in there because of the emotional scarring that's been left behind for me. And it's a weird place when you go back now for me. It gives me many different feelings and interpretations. However, one of the greatest things was the Just Rick vlog that I've just put out there was literally just me sat in a car outside my old workplace, and it shut down. They've shut it down. It's one of the most successful little dealerships, and they've closed it down. Obviously for a reason, it's gone downhill or something's happened, but it was phenomenal, and they've closed it down. And I went over there to see my daughter. Just to let you know at the end, here's one for you, gents. Do you cry? Because I was blethering like an idiot. I went to see Shakespeare, and The weirdest thing about I'm all over the place, I need to just concise it in. I went to see Shakespeare at my daughter's college, and it was 2 hours, it was an hour a break and then another hour. So I sat down and after the first 10 minutes, didn't have a clue what was going on. And I just went, this is going to be such a long time. If I do not get my head into this, I need to get my head into this. I need to work out who's who, which character is which character, and then just flow with it. And once I got that, it was absolutely brilliant. The first hour flew by and it was fantastic. And I understood it, it was great, and then we had the break, and then we went back in. As we went back in again, I'd already seen my daughter perform a couple of things, and I was that proud. I'm sat there, and just tears rolling down my face. And just to let you know, by the way, I've come prepared today, just in case. Tears rolling down my face, and it was just out of proudness, and it was really an emotional time. And then when, at the end of it, we all went outside and just waited in the foyer. She came out, and everyone's high-fiving. And she came over and just burst into tears, and got me off again, got me going again. And it took about 5 minutes for us to come around, and we went off and had some food. And I got a message yesterday, and she said, look, I wasn't crying because it was the last performance. I wasn't crying because it was the end of the show. I wasn't crying because I'm finishing college. She said, I was crying because you came and saw it. Gets you going again, doesn't it? Kids, man, they're just ridiculous. Gets you going again. But it shows and proves that it was the right decision for me to do, to go back, and it was one of the nicest messages. So that was really, really nice. But there's the question then, do you cry? Because it's only in the last few years that I do, because I was always brought up to believe that the man's the strong one, and the man is he's the strongest out of everybody in the family, and men don't cry, and stuff like that. And it's weird. And I used to see, when I saw people crying, I was like, what are you crying for? Whereas now, when you get your kids involved, it's like, Jesus Christ, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. But it's been a fantastic couple of days, really good couple of days. Hi Rick, having a party in the Vault Bar in August. Nice one, Jeffrey. Is it open now? I don't know about that. Hope it's open. Hi Nikki, how are you? Been a very testing week, says Brums Group. Got put on redundancy notice, and I've had to interview for my own job. It's been stressful. Oh, mate, I can imagine. If anything I can tell you stuff about that, there's Alan Fraser's a lad I chat with all the time. I think he's been going through the same thing as well, and I've gone through it as well. A life change doesn't always have to be bad. It doesn't always have to be bad. That's the only thing I can say about it. It depends how you. I can imagine the initial when you used to just going along the flow, going along the road, going along the route, and then something like that happens. If you're not used to getting thrown off the path, it can sometimes really jolt you. But it doesn't always have to be bad, and that's the only thing I can say about it. I'd like where I am now. I think I'm proof of it, really. 6 years ago, I was actually in the car with Alice, going from her house down to Newcastle, and I'm down the A1, and I came on a bend, and I said to Alice, this is the bend where I decided I was moving to Tenerife. And she went, did you? I went, yeah, it was here. I was stuck in traffic, and it happened here. It's like, wow, there's just little things like that, and they just make the thing. So I wish you all the best with it, mate. I really do, Plum Club, I really do. Yeah, Craig, you see, that's the idea, Craig. You just get other people talking in the chat. Thank you. You know, it is when I first turned up, I found it hot, warm in the sun, and then freezing when out of the sun. Yesterday morning, I went off to a shopping centre in the morning, just a small shopping centre, and I came out of Asda because Calvin, Shelley's son, needed some milk, so I just something to do before I get the plane. And I'm walking up, I've got my t-shirt, I've got a hoodie, I've got jeans, trainers, and the typical Geordie lass comes the other way in the stripy, the strappy top, arms float showing and chest and back, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, and she's like nothing. I'm freezing. It's weird. It's really weird. Morning all, says Nikki. So good for Rick to give his time to listen and support. A listening ear sometimes, but sometimes needs to have a great day. Do you know what it is? I'm going to talk about that in a second. No, I'll talk about him now because he's 55 on. Last week was the introduction and of the men's room, just to see if we can get something up and running, just see if we can get something going. And everybody, honestly, the amount of people, the positivity, it's great to talk, it's great to talk, it's great to talk. But nobody talked. Craigie did, because he sent me an email, but nobody talked. Everyone just went, it's great to talk. So there's two types of conversation that you can have in the world. I think we've covered this, I spoke about this last week. You can talk about the colour of the curtains. You can have a conversation about the colour of the curtains. They're nice, yeah, the colour, yeah, lovely, them, hang really well. Or you can actually talk. And we get a lot of colour, you know, at the moment it's going to get, I know it'll be a lot of colour of the curtains and stuff like that, but I genuinely believe out of the 55 there must be at least 1 or 2 or 3 who actually want to talk. There's a lot of people there wanting to listen, so if it's one of you, feel free, but we're not forcing anybody. I just want to say the idea of talking in between the group is fantastic. That's exactly what I'm after, Craig. Thank you so much. Works for a fuel company cutting down supervisor numbers around the country. It was weird that Brum's Grub, me turning up and seeing that dealership closed, because what's happening, funnily enough, then I went into Newcastle and I went along Scotswood Road, and Scotswood Road is like the home of motor dealerships, and I've worked in a lot of them and I know a lot of people in them, because we used to get cars from different sites all the time, and the amount that have shut down or changed hands or changed names, I was like, well, it's weird. It was just like, that's why the title of the last vlog was Time Never Stands Still, because you think you go back and it's the same thing again, and it's just not. And you know, you take yourself out of an equation. I think when you live in that equation, you just carry on, you don't see the changes. But for me, when you took myself out into Tenerife and then for a very long time and then brought myself back in again, it was completely different. It just shocked me. It just brings the reality home to you, really. That's the truth. Dad says, funny how emotions can just come and you feel daft, because it's a thing men don't do. We're human and shows our feelings. I was embarrassed, Daz. It's weird, I was embarrassed, and I shouldn't have been, but I was. But I wasn't embarrassed for Alice, I was embarrassed more for the other kids looking over, seeing there's a grown man crying there. And I wasn't crying, I just had tears, I just couldn't stop the tears coming down my face. And it was just tears of joy and pride. Proud. I feel it welling up when I talk now. I think in that vlog, I was at the car and I was like, I held it back at the end, but I could see in my face that I was just, I was going to go again, you know. And it's bizarre, but it's an interesting one, that is like the stereotypical man, how he should look and how he should be, against actually how sometimes you actually feel yourself. I cry. I well up a lot more at films now. Even that, I cry. Doesn't make you cry. When I watch some films now, and where I never used to, whereas now you do, and you just see the meaner things. I think it's as you get older, and I think, you know, your family and your kids and stuff mean a lot more to you, you know. He says, I have to agree, Ireland is not where I want to be, so leaving Tenerife gets harder every time. Ireland holds very little for me now. Yeah, I can imagine, Keith. For me, the UK is holding less and less. Alice wants to come over for 3 months, I think, when her college finishes. And one of the fortunate things for Alice is that she was born over here, so might be able to flick a passport over if she wants to do, but it gives her freedom to Europe. I'm not talking about just staying here, it just gives her freedom into the world, really. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, even if Megan just said, right, I'm off, I'm going to Sweden. I was like, yeah, have a great time, because it's the kids' choices then where they want to be. It's when the kids don't have a choice, for me, you know, when they can't get out of the UK and they don't have that choice, I find that a little bit worrying for them. Don't make you weep when you cry. True, well, that's the truth, but it's easy to say when you don't realise it, Ellie, I think. You know, it's different when you don't realise that. It depends what your mentality is when you got brought up, you know. Iric sat watching the rugby final and the Bosch tribute to Rob Burrows. Oh my God, yeah, sat bubbling like a baby. Don't even normally watch rugby, but so emotional. I've not. I know who he is and I know his story, but I'm not a rugby man, so I've not followed his journey or story. But it is incredible. Even I watched that last little, you know, the segment that he did, and it's ridiculous how it empowers you. I think it actually empowers you when you hear something like that, the way he speaks and stuff. It's like, again, it's how you tackle it, how you handle it, and how you grab it. It's very, extremely commendable. Keith cried this morning watching something about homelessness in Dublin. So, you know, that was horrific, innit? I walked through Newcastle city centre so many times in the last 2 days because there's a lot of free hours, and the amount of beggars and homelessness on the streets, just like, it's barely recognisable anymore, I think, for me, the country. I hope you interviewed well, but try not to stress over the stuff you cannot control. Things happen for a reason. If it's to be, it's to be. Grab it and go if it works. If not, move on. That's such a true one, Maurice. That's such a true one. I did that vlog where I basically said I don't think I have any, in work-wise, I don't think I've ever had a purpose since I finished with golf. And that was like 17, 18, I realised I wasn't a good enough golfer. So I went and became a teacher. So I did think I had a purpose. And I'm finding with that. I used to really have an issue with that, and then I got to car sales, as I said, and I thought that you just follow it until you know what you want to do. And even at this moment in time, I still don't know what I want to do, but I'm fine with it. It's become like the different career paths that you've had, or I've had, and it's you know what your own skill set is, and I think your own skill set will always, get you through no matter what. So that's the idea anyway. That's how I think about it. But honestly, Brumgo, I wish you all the best with it. Ellie says it's hard to talk. It is, but sometimes it's the best. Sometimes it's the best thing to do, really. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. I cried every time I got to Newcastle too. You and Mackham. I'm living proof it's good to talk. Living with disability and life change at a young age. I can imagine. What's also important is that everyone knows this is a safe place. That's very true. Having been through depression and time in Priory, I fully understand it's important to know you're safe and you can say what you feel. That's the truth, Nicky. The other thing about it as well, if anybody does want to talk, if you're logged in on YouTube, I'm on a laptop at the moment, but my account profile's at the top right hand corner. You can click on that and you can change it. You can change it any name you want, you can change it to any picture you want, and then come back in. And then nobody needs to know who you are. So like the names can change, it doesn't matter. You be whoever you want to be. So hi Jackie, how are you? So I've no room to talk. I was going to say, I've lost my train of thought on that. What was I going to say about it? I want the men's room to go in a flow that it needs to go in. I don't want it to be a negative space, but it just needs to go in a flow that it needs to go in. So it's not all about, as I said, it's not all about the negativity. It's like, as I said before, it's like the British Legion, or it's like the local room in your pub. Not one of these fancy ones where everyone's ordering the cocktails, but just a local room where it's like your local. I used to go every Sunday. I used to go into a pub in Newcastle called the Brockwell, and it was a Sunday thing. And you just know everybody sat where they were. So you look across and go, oh, they're in there. You just used to know the people in, and that's really the idea that I want this to try and be, and then just to be like what Nicky just said there, a safe place where people can feel they can talk about it. Morning, Rick. No bikes today, so I thought I'd check in. Nice one, Kev. Weather must be bad, is it? For you not to be on your bike, mate. The weather must be really bad. How many miles, Kev? How many miles are you doing a week on your bike? How many miles are you doing a week on your bike? That's one. Keith is all things Tenerife and more. He says, Ellie, check it helps so much. I wouldn't be around today if I hadn't have talked. Keith is most probably one of the catalysts and the reason for something like this that I'm doing with the men's room, because the conversation I had with Keith, and this was just a phenomenal chance encounter. Keith, you walked into Dylan's, I think it was, and you went, hi, I'm Keith, and we need to talk. I went, okay. And it's just the energy that came off it, then we sat down and had a chat, and we had a fantastic chat. And then the microphones were garbage because of the wind, so the sound was shocking. I still apologise for that, Keith. But it was such an interesting chat, and there is a vlog on there if you go on the Just Rick channel where it's like Meet Keith. Just look through the pictures and say Meet Keith, and his story is phenomenal. So if any of you got I'm not self-promoting, but if any of you are looking for something and looking for, I don't want to even say direction, but just looking for hear other people's stories, if you go to the Just Rick channel main page, just scroll down the videos, and there'll be a picture there saying Meet Keith, or This is Keith, or I can't remember what it's called. And his story is just phenomenal, and it's a pleasure to actually call Keith as a friend. It really is. Damien's doing his Sunday chores. We've all got Sunday chores. Suitable mug required. Can you look at that? I know. Do you know why I have this? It's the biggest one. It's the biggest mug. And I like a massive cup of tea in the morning after my breakfast. I like a massive cup of tea. So I've got all the other the normal ones, but it's like, I'll give us a big cup of tea. I'll take that down. Let's have a look. Totally agree. I know the first reach out is daunting, but once it's the feeling, it's like a cloud of being lifted. I can assure you, that's fantastic. Somebody said right at the beginning, we're not experts. I need to put the description with all the stuff that I've just saved. I'm just copy and paste it in. I was running a bit late this morning. Average around 200 miles. Great medicine for headspace. Quiet country lanes, free of traffic. Blown a hoolie today and sick of riding in rain. I can imagine. I do 5k a day. Or I try to walk 5k a day. I take the dog out and we do a 5k walk, and it's an amazing headspace, difference, clearer. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and at the moment I'm going through a few different ones. I'm learning. I've gone back onto learning Spanish. on my podcast. So today I was learning about the preterite tense and the imperfect tense. That's a level, isn't it? Where you're there, so you can expand your vocabulary and conversation. And funnily enough, when that finished, I couldn't find the next one, so I still had 20 minutes walk left. I'm listening to a Kevin Spacey podcast, somebody interviewing Kevin Spacey, and at the moment they're going to go through everything apparently, but at the moment they're just talking about Seven, the film, and I forgot he was in that. And it's really the way he talks, and that is a man who's a master of his craft. It's really, I find people who are at the top of the game, just, you know, no matter what it is, whether it's sport, acting, you know, the finance, you know, business. I just find them all fascinating. They're just like, what drives it, what keeps it going. And Kevin Spacey's, you know, I think he's been acquitted on everything. That's what they said right at the beginning. So every charge been brought to him, he's been acquitted. But it's like, what's happened in his life in the last 7 years? How has his life been affected by what's going on? And it's a 3-hour podcast, and I'm only 20 minutes in, so I'll get to it, but I'll have more with it next week. But I find walking with the podcasting, it takes me away. And I think, well, Kevin means the same thing there. Kev says that. It just takes you away. It's like a fantastic medicine of just, I've still got shingles. It's just a fantastic medicine. Just takes you away and just gets you into the right headspace to come back in and start the day. But I've got the chores, but the weather's not the best. We've got a bit of a cloudy day up here. Quite enjoying it actually. Enjoying the seasons up here. I think the sun's shining in town, but you never know. Believe it or not, but making my videos for YouTube content also helps me. It's my escape and enjoyment escape for me. I 100% get it. 100% get it. And I do drop in and drop out of yours. Dog's just barking at nothing. I do drop in and drop out of yours, and I find them really, really easy. I find them really easy listening. And the idea of this really here is, I call a lot of stuff sometimes chewing gum for the eyes and ears, and I want the Just Rick channel to be more just chewing gum for the ears as you're walking around listening, or somebody's doing the chores and I'm on the background. That's really what I want it to be. The Rick and Shelley, it needs to be more, I want people to sit there and watch it because it's more visual. But the Just Rick, I just want it to be, it's just the murmurings really of a 50 plus. We're a group of people, I think we're a group of men in a group in age that's, I'm not going to say it's a forgotten age, but we're a group of men that, like, where you've reached a milestone that a lot of people haven't reached, but you've reached a milestone where you can then reflect, and I think that's the idea of it really, I think. I've tried that Diary of CEO. I'm struggling with that. I've tried it. Is it good, Brum? I've tried it. Rick, it takes a strong man to addict that they carry, so don't beat yourself up. Still do, Jackie. Still do. Find it's tough, that one. Dodge Woodall, he has some very interesting people on his podcast. Any football fans under the cosh is always funny. Nice one. I listened to James English, I think it is, but I tell you what was good. I don't find James English a good interviewer, but I find his content, some of them are really good. He interviewed Joey Barton, and that was like a 4-hour. And to be honest with you, Joey Barton's the one that got me through decorating this house, because I was on my own just listening to it, and it was, he's got a phenomenal story. And I didn't even know him, didn't even really like him, but his story's just fantastic, and it's more about the person. James English himself as an interviewer is doing really, really well, but it's not my style, I don't think. I think he's a little bit young, and he's just a bit repetitive of what he says. But podcasts, I love podcasts. Honestly, keep bringing me new stuff, and I'll always listen to it. The rest is football. Thank you, mate. It's so important for me to do that with you. Don't know why. I'm a mental health officer in work for the last 2 years, and I've sent so many people to look at that interview. Brilliant, Keith. Thank you. It was. I can't. In fact, you know what it is. While we're there, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You get a talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it, because I'm going to. All the videos. I'll find it, and I'll post it. It was such a long time ago, Keith, wasn't it? Christ. It was ages ago. See where it is. I look at some of the garbage I've done on here, and it's like, some of the shite. It's ridiculous. Some good pictures on there, like some funny ones. And you go, oh mate, I can't believe how far back it was. Where are we? I'm trying to find, there you are, found you. There, share, copy, back into that, drop it into there, paste, enter, and then I'm going to try and, when the chat starts again, I'm just going to pin going to pin that. Hang on, I can see it there. Can I get it? On the laptop, you've got like an emoji thing, so when you try and click on it, you get the emoji rather than the actual thing. Can I do that? No, there it is there. Pin. For any of you that are interested, Keith's story, I've just pinned it at the top of the chat, so you'll see something just go up there. That's the link to Keith. It's a fascinating story, and I'm so glad you're using it, Keith, as well for other people. It's really, the only issue with it is the sound shocking, because I was an amateur. It sounds amateur, still am, but I was new to it, so it was the sound's garbage, and I hated myself for it. I beat myself up. But if you can get through the sound and listen to the words, they're fantastic. Paul says, this time 3 weeks ago I was in ICU at Kieran Salou with serious heart flutters. Wow, turned out to be an atrial fibrillation after 3 days in ICU with no Spanish. It's safe to say I've never been so scared. Christ, Paul. Yeah, that's not good. The Kieran's really good for the English though, isn't it? I know a couple of people who work there who do the translations. They're pretty decent. And I've had, Megan's had experience down at the Kieran. I hope you're alright, mate. I hope you're doing okay. I've never been so scared. It's one of those ones, I've never been in that position, so I can't comment on it. When I was growing up, I was petrified of death, petrified of it. And then I remember seeing my nan when I was about 13, 14, and my nan was 80 odd, and my nana Taylor, and she was in Manchester Royal Infirmary. I remember her saying to someone, she went, I'm ready to go now. And I'm like, how do you say that? How do you actually say that? But then as you're going through the ages of life, I start understanding it a little bit more. So I'm not as afraid of it as I was. Certainly not as afraid of it more as I was a kid, to be honest with you. Not at all. I hope you're all right, Paul. Hope you're all right. Here he is, Alan Fraser. Good morning, Rick. Good morning to all who are tuned in. Can I just say, Alan, I think it's fantastic. I follow Alan on Facebook, and his Facebook posts of you in the gym, I think are fantastic. We're not all Instagrammable, Alan, neither am I. But what you're doing in the gym is actually inspiring me to consider it. I think we're going to go to the gym next week. When Shelley gets back, I think we're going to go out and hit the gym. And I think you're inspiring us without it. So again, there was a saying that we had in the car sales when a customer came in and sat down. We actually had to find out what was the initial seed that made them think about changing their car. And it's never what you think. It goes further back, further back. So it's like this, the men's room is an idea that came from the idea of like, well, men don't talk, men need to talk. But I genuinely believe the catalyst, one of the first catalysts is actually the conversation I had with Keith. And that was, let's have a look. That was, how long ago? That was a year ago, Keith, that was. But you don't realise it. But then all of a sudden the men's room gets created, which is fantastic. But like the catalyst of me going to get exercise and to get fit, or to join a gym, you actually know where the catalyst comes from, and I think it's actually coming from you, Alan. So well done for that. Well done for that. You're doing a cracking job. Keep it up, mate. Keep it up. And the only person that you're achieving it for is for yourself, and that's the other thing as well. As long as you're achieving it for yourself and not for other people, then that's brilliant. You're doing fantastic with that. Let's have a look. Chewing gum is what I have listened to from our chat in Tenerife. I quite like chewing gum. I like chewing gum for the ears. I quite like it sometimes. As I said to you before, you can either talk about the colour of the curtains, which we're doing at this moment in time, or you can properly talk. I think those people will eventually come forward when they feel comfortable enough to do. But so talking about the colour of the curtains isn't really an issue. Chewing gum for the ears, I think it's a great thing. It just keeps it turning. It just keeps the wheels turning. Rather than not, there's nothing worse than silence, I think. So I think that's sort of what I find anyway. Watched a film last night on YouTube called Hoovy. Very inspiring, about a boy tumor playing basketball on the road to recovery based on a true story about positivity. Fantastic. Hoovy. Look at that. Hoovy. Hoovy. What's film? Hoovy inspirational true story, Patrick Warburton. I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at that, Craig. Thank you so much. We watch on YouTube. I've just got a blowing nose, sorry. We watch Kinging It a lot. Kinging It is something we like. Not for the last couple of weeks. Excuse me. They've not been off the last couple of weeks because they've been busy, but they're renovating the house. And I quite like the house renovation. I think you all when you learn this YouTube malarkey, or when you follow this YouTube path, you look first of all to copy people, and then when you realise copying is not the right way to go, you then start thinking about who you can emulate. And I think the content from Rick and Shelley is more emulated towards what King and It do, I think. So if you like what I do, or like what me and Shelley do, then go and take a look at King and It, because I think you'll like what they do. And they are 30 years younger than us, and they're doing it all right. James English is good. I like his honesty, but you're right, he's not the best interviewer. Yeah, I agree. I like it. He's definitely honest. I like that. But his interview style is I suppose maybe he's young for it. I don't know. But he's taking the bull by the horns and going for it, which is good. Gary Banks, good morning, Rick. We walked to Siam Mall from the Arona Grand Hotel. Take care, Gary. That's a walk, isn't it? That is a walk. Siam Mall from the Arona Grand. Bottom corner of Los Cris to the high above Las Americas. It's a long walk. Somebody walked from the Arona Grand to Siam Mall. Shelley's just in the background doing stuff. Don't turn that on yet. No. Got the washing machine going. Good morning, Rick. It's a great thing you're doing. We do need to talk more. All the success with it. Thanks, Keith. As I said before, it's not going to be dour and stuff like that. It just needs to be. If somebody wants to talk, they're more than welcome. And if not, we'll keep talking about the colour of the curtains. Got no problem with that. Mr. B's on. Hi, Mr. B. Sorry for being late on. You go shopping on a Sunday, Mr. B. You're a creature of habit, I think. You and Anne are always out in Dublin shopping, I believe, on a Sunday afternoon. Coming tomorrow. Oh, you arrive tomorrow, Shelley says. You guys are coming tomorrow, so you'll be packing today, will you? I hope the weather picks up for you, because it isn't the best at the moment. Like, we're a bit, as a resident would say, we quite like it. No, it's not holidaymakers weather. Yeah, people asking you all packed. Hi, Anne in the background. Let's have a look. Diary of a CEO has experts on who are the best in their field. Sometimes the subject isn't my cup of tea. The health ones are good. The owner of a company called Zoe did one. Unbelievable. Give it a go. I'll definitely give it a go if that's the case. I've never really looked into it, so it's just if that's the case, I'll definitely look into it. I tell you what, I will do. Has any of you seen the Joe Rogan interview with Terence Howard? That is just a mind-blowing interview, that. And there's only there's three things I can get out of that. Take out of that interview. Number one, the guy's an absolute genius of our time. Number two, the guy has just lost the plot of our time. And number three, this is an acting role that we're not aware of, and in about 2 years' time there'll be a film coming out saying he's got it all. Because you don't know which direction it's going to be in. It is a phenomenal interview. If you've seen it, let us know what your thoughts on it. And then I don't listen to all of Joe Rogan, because I don't know everybody. I don't listen to his comedians against comedians. But he did the one the week before with a guy called Rishi Zanak or something, Rishi Zanak, and that was also a really, really good one. That was really interesting. Hi Debbie, how are you? Let's have a look. Just jumps a little bit. My lack of Spanish is my fault entirely, as I've lived here for the past 6 years. There's a background that I don't usually share, but want you to know that the men's room definitely feels a safe space. Thanks, Paul. Thank you so much. I find, right, I'm gonna let you all into a secret. A podcast called Coffee Break Spanish. So I'll show you. See if I can find it. You're looking for. I don't know if it'll come up. When you go on if you do podcasts, you're looking for that logo there. Coffee Break Spanish. It is free, and it's phenomenal. It's absolutely brilliant. When I come in and tell Shelley I'm talking about the preterite tense and the imperfect tense, and that's only on season 2, and it's like eight seasons. It is. Paul, give it a go. It's free and it's brilliant. Mark and Cara on there are fantastic. Prash is on. Hi Prash, how are you, mate? I hope you're okay. Hope you're doing okay. We had a similar conversation outside Dylan's one night. I had to trick my wife and 2 friends to come down to Los Cris so I could speak with you. You had to trick them. I hope I was as honest as I always normally am, Maurice. I do actually. Yes, Jesus Christ, I know you are, Maurice. Sorry. Sometimes, you know what it is, Maurice? Sometimes I know the faces and I know the people, and I just don't add the names together. But we talked about this last week. I know you are completely who you are. I'm glad you find that, Maurice. Jackie Stewart says, all things to me, if I agree, I wouldn't be here either if I hadn't talked to a good friend. It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. Mr. B is ready to pack, all picked out and ready to put in the case. He's got his budgie smugglers and everything going, have you? Alan Fraser's loving the gym. 2 sessions a day, except a Saturday. Absolutely brilliant for the mind. Feels so good after each session. Alan was just talking about somebody earlier on in the chat who's facing redundancy, and you went that path. You walked that path about 2-3 months ago, didn't you? And it's an interesting path, really. I just said it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, does it? It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Packing day, no shopping today. We don't mind the weather. Looking forward to seeing you both. Well, Shelley, you go today, don't you?
Yeah.
Shelley's away today. She's back on Friday. Are you back Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Back Friday. Is it worth asking subscribers to name another non-Tenerife related YouTube channel they tune into for entertainment and/or information? It's a great idea, Jim. Yeah. What non-Tenerife related? Yeah. Who do you listen to that's non-Tenerife related? I will go first. I will listen to Casey Neistat if he ever releases a video, because his videos to me they're fantastic. They're really, really good. I will look out for King in It, but me and Shelley tend to watch them together. I will always look out for Ryan Trahan. He's a kid in his 20s who is just 12 million views, all happy-go-lucky videos. And I get drawn into Mr. Beast, funnily enough, which I'm not really a Mr. Beast. He's not my style. We're not his target demographic, but I get drawn into it. The one that I can't tell, Johnny Harris, is phenomenal. He's a journalist who has maybe 4 or 5 million views, subscribers, and he is ex-National Geographic, but his video composition put together, he makes half an hour long videos, and it's all like, what's going on with the war in Gaza is one of them, and then, why Switzerland has so many caves is another one, and he just picks topics and just like explores the topics. Like, I think that the corruption of the World Cup was the most amazing one with Qatar. That's what I listen to. So if anybody else wants to put something there, we'll have a chat and see what people say. Whatever the weather is like in Tenerife, it must be an improvement on the UK. It's true. Rishi Sunak, no, Rishi Rizwak, I said. I'm sure it's Rishi Rizwak. But Rishi Sunak is the Prime Minister, not for long, I don't believe. There's an interesting one, isn't it? Which one of the poison pond are you gonna go and feed yourself from? Rick, have you ever wanted to talk about mental health? You may or may not be aware, I'm very open about mental health on my channel. I'm glad you have taken a step and I'd share my story. Prash, go for it, man. Definitely. It's mental health. I'm going to say it doesn't have to be a struggle. Mental health can be a struggle. I had a fantastic conversation with a guy on the channel who has a place in Loch Chris, and he comes back and forwards all the time. A few of you know who he is, and I don't mention him because he's not asked. I've not asked his permission if I can name him, but he suffers from depression, and I said, okay, I get that. And the curious mind of me was then turned around to him and said, well, so at what point are you cured from it, or what point are you then not depressed? So now that you know you suffer depression, at what point do you go, well, I'm not depressed anymore? And it was almost like shock therapy, because he never looked at it that way. And it's like, well, it's like when you break a leg, you get your leg fixed, and then your leg's not broken anymore. Of course, you carry like certain things, like might have arthritis later on down the line, so you might carry stuff with it. Is that not the same then if you're talking about mental health? It's like when you get your mental health fixed, or is it something, do you live with it, or is it incurable? I don't believe it's incurable, but I don't know too much about it myself. As I said, none of us are experts here, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but it was a really interesting conversation, fascinating conversation I had with him. But yes, Prash, please let us know. Prash, tell us who you are. Put it in the chat. I know he's only got 200 letters on the chat, but type out, tell us who you are, and I'd be pleased to hear his story, definitely. Who's on high, there is no summer on. Is it true that they've had snow in Scotland in June? It's like, what is that? There was a cold wind yesterday in Newcastle, I'll tell you that was for sure. I got my first aborted landing. Coming into Newcastle, we had to abort the landing, and we must have only been 20 metres from the ground, if that. And then we were back up again. It's like, I was lucky because I never liked flying, I never used to. But I've seen that many aborted landings living on the Gulf near the airport that it didn't really bother me. I just went, oh, here we go. But it was my first one, so that was weird. Let's have a look what's going on. I don't know what happened. Did you miss it, the weather? It was a couple of weeks ago, but I'm sure there'll be another one next year. It's horrible, isn't it? Let's have a look. Bloke called Darren John is decent. He's a great guy, Darren. He's fantastic. And Darren's going through his own, he's got his own things going on, and he's going through his own battles, I suppose. And but he's doing all right. And I chat with Darren maybe once a week, just on WhatsApp, back to each other, and see how he's doing. Neil Davison. Hi Neil, how are you? Morning Rick, just home from a long week in Latvia. Yeah, I bet you have. Blood results for myself are coming down, and hopefully end of July when I get my review of the radiation. Hopefully it has worked. Fingers crossed, Neil. Fingers crossed. Let's hope it's going in the right direction. You're very, very proactive on that and keeping it very proactive, keeping it forefront and actually going for it. So it's good luck, Neil. Wish you all the best. Your inner thoughts become much better and much clearer, Rick. They do. I think so. Is Discord an option for a chat room off men's room? I've just discovered it off another group. Yeah, I don't really know too much about Discord. I think it's a great idea. I think if you want to set one up, Craigie, I've got no issues with it. I don't do Discord. My daughter does Discord because she's a gamer, and that's where Discord, for those that you don't know, it's just another social media platform, but it's massive. They are apparently the old chat rooms Discords now. I think it's something, again, it's like, I need to learn it. But if you want to set one up, Craigie, I've got no problems with that. It's how proactive are we as people then to actually go, let's go into a Discord room and see. I don't know how that would go. I see, I posted something this morning on Facebook, and here's one for you, Neil. I posted just on Tenerife Friends this morning. See if I can find it. No, typing wrong here, sorry. There it is. I put a post on about, no, it's not been there then. It's funny, I put a post on, I took a picture, it's beautiful, sun was shining, took a picture, it's really nice, and it was like, happy Sunday. Just all it was a happy Sunday for people for Tenerife, because they like pictures of Tenerife. And it's gone to the admin team now to get vetted. And I'm just wondering, because that never used to be the case in the beginning, are you finding now that the size of the Facebook page is becoming that big that you're having to start to vet? Because it's like, I'll just explain, I'm going to put a grenade into the group. Is it not like Animal Farm? We all start off and we're all equal, and then it goes that way. It's very, the logistics of a Facebook group and the logistics of different people becomes very, very interesting. I'm just wondering what your thoughts on that. Nan's on there as well. What your thoughts on that, Neil? Nan, what made you decide to put the decision on that it goes off first of all to be vetted? So because it's still not on there yet, and I put it on a couple of hours ago. Tenerife Friends. Yeah, it's not there. So it's interesting to see. And it's not out of malice. It's just out of curiosity. Let's have a look. See what else. Gone past all that. Right. Rick, Mum Suba's shouting as she wants me to take her out. I'd like to arrange a video like you did with Keith. It's my last day in Las Chris today, so I'm making the most. Prash, enjoy yourself. When next time you come over, by all means, just look me up, mate. Look me up next time you come over and we'll have a conversation. No problem at all, mate. Flew into Riga, Howard, but have to travel 3.5 hours east towards the Russian border. Oh, yeah. You're in Latvia, weren't you, Neil? Trisha's on. Hope you all guys doing okay. All well, thanks, Trisha. Snow in the Cairngorms. No khaki shorts and sandals. Oh, my God. That's interesting, Keith. I always say you have to manage mental health, not let it control you. I don't suffer with, I manage my mental health. You see, even just a simple sentence like that just turns it, doesn't it? It just gives it a different aspect of looking at the same thing. Just gives a different aspect of looking at the same thing. Do you remember those in the olden days? They used to, I'm going to show you this, hold on. I've not done this on purpose, I've just thought about this. You go like that and you go, we had these in school, didn't we? What's that? And like people got no idea, and you go, it's a Mexican sat in the toilet. Can you see it from above? It's stupid. But when you look at something from a different angle, it just becomes a completely different perspective, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think that's what Keith means. I think just look at it from a different perspective and it gives you a different way of handling something. So I like that sentence, Keith. I always say you have to manage mental health, not let it control you. I don't suffer with, I manage my mental health. It's a daily thing for you, Keith, is it? Do you think about it all the time? Or is it just coming in and out, like waves? Let's have a look. Yeah, happy to oblige, depending on this family's thoughts, if it could work. It's a thought, Craigie. Honestly, it's a thought. Craigie's thinking about setting up a Discord channel. A Discord is literally a chat room. It's from what I can gather. I don't know too much about it, but my daughter's in a few different Discord groups, and it's just friends getting together and talking about stuff, which is really, that's what it's about. Really, it's good. Hi all, just sharing that my first grandkid is due in a couple of weeks. Sad I'm 2,000 miles away, but so excited for my daughter. Nice one, Stuart. Yeah, we were the same. The first grandchild, I was there, saw her yesterday as well. Ava, she's beautiful, man. Do you know the worst thing is, or the weirdest thing was, is when I got back there, when she gets handed to people that she doesn't know, she starts crying. So the moment I took her, I knew she was going to start crying. So I stayed close. I had to stay close to her mum because that relationship's not there yet. And then when I took the photograph, she's looking at me, and for those on Facebook who know her, she looked at me and says to go, so who are you? And it's just like, you know, you can't force it, you can't rush it, you just got to go, bless it. It's gonna happen in time, but it's just like, oh, this is the start of something, because you're not there all the time, you know what I mean? I think that's what it comes down to. And that was the only two things that I found difficult. But I know that in 3-4 years' time, when she comes to Tenerife and we're throwing her around in the pool and she's having a great time, I think that'll be a completely different side. Mr. B said, I didn't see that pending post until just now, approved now. Yeah, it wasn't about the approving, Mr. B, it was about what made you guys take the decision that you now need to start vetting them, because something might have happened, or is it just a thing, because it never happened in the beginning and it happened now. I've got no issues with it. It was just I found it interesting and intriguing. You're too busy packing anyway. Kev's on. Hidden talents artist, Rick. What do you mean, Kev? Oh, you mate. All right. What do you hidden talent artist? What do you mean by that? Hope you're doing all right, Kev. Where are you? Are you in Scotland or are you away? Jimmy Cannon, I've got a king in it, but still like other YouTube travel vloggers like Kurt Kars, Jason Billum, Paulwers, and Tread the Globe. I'll have to look at them. You've got King in it's got friends called Amy and Bex, and they're not my cup of tea. They're just not my cup of tea, really. But I'll have to check those other ones out. Kurt Kars, Jason Billum. I don't know any of them. It's amazing though, isn't it? Because your algorithm just picks up your stuff. The algorithm just picks up your stuff, and you just like, eventually you go, I'm sick of looking at it because I'm looking at the same stuff all the time. Well, you want to see something different, something new. Cup of tea starts to go cold. Oh, that one, you remix Make Lollies. I'm in Scotland now. But it's true though, Kev. Look at it from a different angle. Mexican sitting on the toilet. There's all the rage in 1 year in our school. Just everyone go around with stuff like that. But it's just gives you a completely different direction on it. My depression is usually triggered by something someone has said or people I trust who let me down. The episodes are further apart now, which is positive. Fantastic, Alan. Fantastic. You put on the chat last week. We cut off a little bit short, but you put on last week that you said what you suffer from, and I think it was imposter syndrome. And, and that's the weirdest thing, because I find that really hard to believe. Do I? No, I don't. Maybe we all suffer from it all a little bit, or men, from imposter syndrome. It's an interesting one, that. It's a really interesting one. Tread the Globe are currently driving across India. It's an unbelievable place, that. Tread the Globe. I like seeing different stuff. Speaking of different stuff, there's a Netflix series called Eric, which was Benedict Cumberbatch, and it was I've watched it and it's really good, really, really good. Tread the Globe. Oh, that's them. Oh, it's a van life thing. I like that. But yeah, might worth having a look at that actually. I like that. Thank you very much. The decision to vet posts was made to avoid unrelated posts or negative posts. I get it, Anne. Yeah, it makes sense. Does that mean you would get in them, like unrelated posts, negative posts? I get that. All things Tenerife, yes, I have too. I can never stop working on it. A couple of weeks I spent a week alone in a room away from everything and everyone in order to reset my head. It's not easy for us, but it has to be done. I couldn't imagine that, Keith. Couldn't imagine that. I hope you're in a good place, Keith, anyway. I hope you're doing all right. I hope everybody is anyway. Just driving it, we'll message later about approval unless Anne can explain. Yeah, it's cool, Neil. It was, Neil, it's not a biggie, it's just literally just out of curiosity. I was just wondering what it was, and that was all it was. Enjoy your packing, Anne. You'll be here tomorrow. Before you know, it'll be here. Your pic just made me think of licorice all sorts. What do you think that means? Yeah, we're not going to go, do you see an octopus or do you see a fish? We're not doing that, Jill. Can you imagine? Every time I think of you now, Jill, I think of spider plants. There you go. There's something for you. By us, I mean me and Kaylee. It's important to understand, to remember that our partners have to walk this path with us. Yeah, I can imagine that as well. We started to get a few negative posts. I had no choice but to induce vetting. You see, that's the thing about it, isn't it? Is that not the whole Animal Farm, George Orwell Animal Farm thing, where everyone's equal and then it all starts and it's just... I saw something, right? I found this really interesting. There was a scientific experiment where there was a roundabout. Scientists put 20 cars on a roundabout and asked all 20 cars to drive at 20 kilometres an hour or 20 miles an hour or what it was, and just keep that speed going. And they filmed it, and within the space of minutes there was a traffic jam. And it's just, how do you explain that? And it's the same as what you just said there. What everything starts off with, then it's not how it starts, it's the direction it then goes into. I think you've got an incredibly difficult job, you guys. I really do think you have. At least here on this space, for me, I can go, yeah, I don't agree with that, and just move on. And they can't rebuttal or come back, because they're gone. But I think you've got a difficult job. But good luck. I think it's a great site, I really do, and that's why I post on it, because I think you guys, if you love Tenerife, I'm in a very privileged position where I can give you first photo hand access to it. So that's the reason why. Let's have a look. Rick, it's got to be hard to have your granddaughter and daughter so far away. Our 22-month-old granddaughter is 45 minutes drive away, and we miss her so much. We're moving from Birmingham to Worcestershire. Right. I totally agree with you, Carl. There's a couple of things that, if we're talking about talking and opening up, 6 years ago I made the conscious decision to move to Tenerife, and I made it because my daughter, 14 at the time, my youngest, said, I want you to go because in 2 years' time when I finish school I want to come and live there as well. So that's one of the reasons why I made it. She came over just after COVID times, and it wasn't right because the island wasn't set up for her, and therefore she then went back, and then she went into college. So that was tough. But I had to believe that the reason why I was keeping this distance away was to actually separate the old life of what was going on to the new life of what I have now, so I can later on down the line, like it might cost me 2-3 years of pain, but later on down the line we can have years and years of happiness and all that. And we're now coming out into that direction. So that was the decision with my daughter. When I first moved out of the family home, I was only 3 miles down the road, and it was awful because I just kept getting dragged back into scenarios that were just like I couldn't help with. And that's the reason why I thought I need to get further away. The granddaughter one is a little bit more different because Shelley's son has become parents, son and daughter-in-law become parents, and it's like I'm almost like the step granddad. So the pull of that at the moment is I'm trying to get not trying to get my head into it. I'm trying to get myself into the role I am the granddad, which I will be, and down the line it'll always be there. But it's just trying to get your head into that role as well. Whereas I think it's harder for Shelley than it is for me, or it will be harder for Shelley than it is for me. But we also, Shelley came up with something a couple of months ago. She said it was our choice to move away, and it's their choice to have the baby, and it's their life, and is their life. I think when you move away from a country into a different country, I think there's a different mindset of the people. Like for myself and Shelley and other expats that we meet, there's different mindsets compared to the mindset of somebody back in the UK, and it only becomes distinguishable once you've moved away. And in that instance, Shelley's fortunate enough that she took a decision to regularly go back anyway because of her brother and because of her parents of the age they are and her brother's disabilities. So for us now, getting on a plane is getting on a bus. So what you just mentioned there, Carl, is that you are 45 minutes away. We are 4.5 hours away. So we're not 2,500 miles away, we're 4.5 hours away. And I think that's how we look at our life at the moment. It's like when we moved out here into the sticks, we are miles away from everywhere else, but we're only actually 10 minutes away. It's just how you again, that's probably what Keith says, how you look at stuff on a different angles. Marcus Brownlee, great YouTuber. Yes, he is. He's very very knowledgeable, very directional of which way he wants to go from that. It's he's got a great direction on it, Marcus Brownlee. I quite like him. A friend of ours took his own life 3 weeks ago. He convinced us he was fine and getting help. You just never know sad circumstances. Such a shame, that, isn't it? I think the Gary Speed one was the one that got me. The interview that Dan Walker did, said he was chatting with Gary Speed, and Alan Shearer, I think it was. They were chatting with Gary Speed the day before, and they were laughing and joking in the studio, and the following day he took his life. And it's just like, Robin Williams just blows me away as well. Just like that sort of, the depth that those people have, or the mask that they carry or wear to hide it all from everybody else. I just think I find it such a tragedy, and such a shame. I really do. 45 minutes away is nothing. You spend that time scrolling on your phone or watching rubbish TV. Just get in the car and drive. It's easy. Yeah, I think Carl's very much he's hands-on granddad. I think they're definitely moving closer. Good luck with it, Carl. Wish you all the best. I'm in a fantastic place. Never been happier. You have to fix yourself. It's so important to work on it every day. You have to remind yourself that you are worth the effort. It's a great mindset you've got, Keith. The positivity just shines out of you when I meet you and we chat. The positivity just literally just exudes, and it's so nice. It's so nice to see. And we've not had a chance to meet the last couple of times, but I know for a fact that's not an issue, because it's not a dependency for you or for myself. But I know that when we meet again, the conversation will just pick up from where we last left off. And I think that's a very important issue. What you just said there, you don't be dependent on somebody else. It's got to come from yourself. Have other people helping you, but it's got to come from yourself. 6 years ago, I had a lot of people helping me when I took that decision, and I came over, and I didn't realise at the time until you look back who it was that's helping me. And there's 3 people I can go, thanks to you and you, it's where I am at the moment. That's what I think that comes down to. Sorry, Kev, it's just horrific that when you read about that. So sorry. I was in the car yesterday with Calvin, Shelley's son, and we were talking about something, and he said, "Yeah, one of my mates." I was talking about a Tyne Bridge. That was it, because the Tyne Bridge we used to travel all the time in the traffic and that. And we used to say, the worst thing about Tyne Bridge is you get the jumpers off the bridge. And when I used to cross it every day at the beginning, the first 3-4 months, you used to go, oh, what a shame. And then after that, you go, oh, just jump already, I need to get home for my tea. And that's more of a joke, but it's a completely different mindset. There's still the same people in that. And then Calvin just turned around and said, yeah, I had a friend from school who did that and killed himself. And you go, Jesus Christ, man. It's ridiculous when you think about it. Ridiculous. It's an odd sensation. I bet it is, yeah. I bet it is. It's like, how do you go about seeing somebody one day and then not seeing them the next? It's so bizarre. Such a bizarre thing, especially when it's so unexpected. That's really what it is, really weird. Do you know what it is? I'm looking through the chat at the moment, and on this chat there's most probably I could see about 20 names on there, but I can see there's 86 watching, so that means there's 66 people, más o menos, more or less, that are not writing, but are still getting involved. So thank you very much for you guys. And sometimes, as I said before, it's good to talk. If we don't get any talkers, we'll just talk about the colour of the curtains. Because sometimes it's good just to talk about the colour of the curtains. The idea there's somebody I know who's 80 odd, who's got no idea of computer literacy. But if you put this in front of them, I think they might have enjoyed the last hour, because it's just talking. And even that just helps. It's just the littlest thing, It's the littlest thing. Keith's channel's being put on there, it's true. Morris says, I coached a rugby team at one time. Young lad at 19, played a great game one day, got man and match award, then spent 2 hours in a pub having a drink, then went home and within 1 hour done himself. My God, Morris. What a shame. That never became clear for me. No, I can imagine. We'll catch up in August, brilliant. The small things like deleting his profile from our WhatsApp group. Wow, yeah. Wow, yeah. Do you know, as I said before, it's like for the 60 odd people in the background, I hope we're on there. For those who quick look there, the drawers were still on. There's a typical one. That alarm goes off every day because that tells me that Megan owes me £100. And as a dad, she's quite willing to owe it, but as a dad, the responsibility is that she owes it me and she's going to pay it me back, and I will forget that she owes it me. So I'm putting that on there to make sure that I don't forget, and therefore she doesn't forget either. And that's part of just a life lesson that she needs to own up and pay her money back. So that's just a little trick that I've done for a life lesson for her anyway. Just talking about stuff's just it's enough. I don't want it to be a dour down sort of place, a room. It doesn't need to be dour and down. It just needs to be a place where people can have a chat, and that's what it's about. And the people chatting in the chat's great. The idea of a Discord group's a great idea. The idea of Craigie and Keith getting involved is fantastic. Alan, I think you, without even realising it, Alan, I think you're a big personality that can have a big effect on people. Morris as well. Let's have a look. Eric, hope he wants to listen and join in. Just too busy, unfortunately. He said it's very interesting. Thanks, Michelle. Just leave it on in the background or watch it when you can. Get to it. That's all it is. I can't believe nearly 2,000 people saw the last week's. Didn't expect that. And it's not about numbers. This is not, to me, not about numbers. This is just about something that is there, that'll be there consistently for people. And I'll say it gets hosted. It might move off onto a Discord group in the end because it might not be needed, and Discord might be the way to go. But that's what it comes down to. All things tend to be for more. Rick, if it helps one per person, it's worth it. True, Keith. So true, so true. That's what my thought was exactly. That's what my thought was exactly. With that, I'm going to round it up. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you all get back on your Sundays, do my chores, get the washing done. And thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some out of it. Let us know if you watch on catch up. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're enjoying it. In my experience, when someone is so low, they see no other option except suicide. All reason and logic is irrelevant. It's seen the way of escaping the mental pain and anguish they suffer. Yeah, true. Something nice to do when you're apart, connect your Alexa and play a song or send a noise when my kids are getting ready for school. I'll send them something. That's a great idea. Thanks, Alan. Cheers, Al. And we'll catch you guys up. Nice one, Craigie. Do us a favour, Craigie. It might be something that was worthwhile. Next week, if you just write about what it is, just so people can explain it, because even I don't fully know about Discord. Dave Mack's been watching in the background. It helps I don't have the confidence to talk about things at the moment. Dave, that's actually, I've just skipped that. Hi Rick, I've been watching in the background and it helps. I don't have the confidence to talk about things at the moment, but it helps. That's thank you, Dave. So for everybody else got involved, you've helped one person, at least one person. Thanks, Dave. Have a great week, mate. And one day you'll come forward, I think. Wish you all a happy Sunday. 2 o'clock we'll go live, tits and teeth, as always. And as always, in every men's room, don't forget to wash your hands when you leave. I'll see you on the next one, guys, all right? I'll see you soon. Have a great Sunday. Safe flight, Anna David, tomorrow, and we'll see you soon. All the best, guys. Ta-ra.